Hey, what's up everybody? This is Mike Musiolo. I'm an HF1 practitioner in Manhattan, New York City. I am making a video on the tyranny of words. This will be the first part in a series that I plan on doing in order to help inform my fellow functional patterns doers, as well as anybody else in the world community that's interested in the tyranny of words and operating under specific semantics in order to get everybody on the same page on a sociological level. I think that the Tyranny of Words is an extremely important volume, and obviously Nowdy recommends that we read it in order to better understand what specific communication is and scientific communication from a mechanistic standpoint. So I wanted to make a video because this will not only help my understanding, but I hope that it will also assist others. Okay? So that leads me to the first part of the presentation. What is the tyranny of words? It sounds like a scary title, but it is only drawing attention to the seriousness of how words can control our lives in manners that are not effective in promoting optimal behaviors, right? And we all know that Nowdy and us as a functional patterns community is all about functional behaviors as well as functional movement. So what is the tyranny of words? The tyranny of words is an attempt to sift through the study of semantics, which is just the use of words and language, as it relates specifically to the human nervous system, okay? That's extremely important as it relates to how we think, right? So what Stuart Chase has done is he's created this image. It's a very simple image here. When we see something that we recognize, let's say I see something for the first time. I see this for the first time. Now when I'm referring to this, if it's the first time, I have no reference experiences, in other words, memories that I filed away in my brain about it. As I begin to form reference experiences, I see that it's blue, I see how long it is, I see how wide it is, I find that the cap can release, I find that it can write. That is when I start to make all of these references to it, right? And then the thing, this, is just what it is inherently. It just is what it is. I know that sounds funny right now, but stay with me. What it is not is the symbol that represents it. This is a whiteboard marker, right? But it is not the word whiteboard marker. It sounds silly right now, but stay with me. The word is not the thing, right? So in terms of the human nervous system, we experience the thing exists, however it may be, it has its own inherent qualities regardless of my value system about it. What it is not is the word that represents it. Does that make sense? Obviously you guys can't answer me, but I believe it does make sense, and we'll continue. If it doesn't make sense, it will. But I wanted to draw your attention to this because this is very important in terms of what Stuart Chase is trying to accomplish of communicating these ideas. Now, key takeaway number 2 from the tyranny of words. It is only when 2 or more people agree on the same referent, right? The same thing, that minds meet. How often have you been talking about something and it's very clear that that person has no reference to what you are talking about? I'm sure that has happened to many of you. I have been that person where you smile and nod, right? Smile and nod. You think you know what they're talking about, but you actually have no idea. If I have never seen a marker, and you talk about a marker, the symbol marker, the word, then this is a blank in my mind. Marker communicates nothing to me. My nervous system does not recognize that. So let that be known, that it is only when two or more people agree on the same referent that minds meet. Extremely important. Okay? Now, this is key takeaway number 3. This is what I was talking about before. We must be conscious of the fact that the word is not the thing. Okay? Now, this may not seem like it's important. You're like, duh, Mike, of course the word's not the thing. I understand that this marker is not the word marker. Okay, great. However, it starts to become extremely important when we're talking about abstractions. Because what happens is when we talk about abstractions, for example, the divine. Stuart Chase is very good at breaking this down. The divine. What reference experiences do you have about the word the divine? Can the divine be measured objectively? Can two or more people unequivocally agree on what the divine means? I don't think so. I believe not. So it is important that when we get to these higher order abstractions, the word is not the thing. The divine has no meaning as it stands on its own. If I say whiteboard marker, you know that this is a whiteboard marker. If I say the divine, what comes to mind? There is no objective measurement of what the divine can be. Okay? So, what happens is we start developing behaviors and value systems about things that we can't objectively measure. This is a major problem. A major problem. Okay? And we'll get into that on a sociological level in other videos. But I think you guys can begin to infer why this is a bad thing, right? Our nervous system is not coming up with reference experiences that are measurable for this abstraction, okay? This leads me to another key takeaway, and I know that Naudi, Jacques Fresco, Stuart Chase talks a lot about prioritization and relevance. Because, for example, Elon Musk was talking about climate change. One of the smartest people on the planet right now was saying to the world community that climate change must be dealt with exponentially faster than it has been. Right? So if that's the case, I have a feeling that Elon Musk has a good idea of what must be prioritized and what is relevant to the world community on a sociological level. The problem is that we are being bogged down by abstractions that cannot be objectively measured. So this is one of the biggest problems that I'm using as an example when it comes to solving problems on a sociological level. That's why the tyranny of words, thank goodness for Naudi bringing it to our attention, is so important. Okay, I get very passionate about this, obviously. So, because of that, we have to recognize that certain abstractions, is the wrong word, certain abstractions become irrelevant when we think in this manner, because we realize that no real operation can be performed to objectively measure them. Extremely important to remember that, guys, right? What do we do as a community? We analyze the gate cycle, right? What is the definition of functional? How many times has Naudi had to go on a Facebook Live and talk to everybody about what functional movement is and the definition of it? And how hard is it for him to get people to agree on a singular definition of what functionality is as it relates to the human body in that context, right? If people had a greater understanding of these concepts, then it would be much easier for people to recognize what is being said and what Naudi is trying to accomplish there, right? So that's why I'm making this video, because I think that if we can make this proliferate on a wider level, then we're going to have a much easier time getting everyone on the same page. And if we can't get everyone on the same page, then at the very least, we'll have our community on the same page. And that's really the most important thing, right? So when we have this level of prioritization, what happens is we find irrelevant questions. There's a couple of good examples that Stuart Chase provides. May time have a beginning and end? Why are we asking that? Why do we care? We have no way of objectively measuring it. And that's why it's important to remember this is semantics as it relates to the nervous system. Because what happens is we have a bunch of philosophers sitting on their ass thinking about may time have a beginning and end when it's irrelevant, when it doesn't matter. Because we have no way to objectively measure it, and we have much more important problems to worry about. Another example, was there a time when matter did not exist? It's irrelevant! We don't care! Because there is no way to objectively measure it. Right? I apologize for the yelling. However, another reason I'm doing this is because, one, I'm very passionate about it. Two, I want to connect to everyone on an emotional level because the urgency is there. The urgency is there. What is Elon Musk talking about? We have to solve these ecological problems faster than we are. And I truly believe that us not being able to organize most effectively on a mathematical, scientific level, dealing with our shared objective reality, is going to be the key to speeding that up. Okay? That's going to be it for today, guys. I hope you found this video to be informative. And please ask questions if there was anything that wasn't clear. I apologize for all my yelling. However, I am very passionate about it. I think it's super important. So maybe that type of emotional energy is what's going to get people to understand what it is that the Tyranny of Words is trying to accomplish and what the Functional Patterns community is trying to accomplish. Please, please, please make a comment finding any holes in my logic, any questions, anything that you might want in future videos. I love doing this kind of stuff. So please, please, please give me all the feedback that you can, and hopefully we will become closer to having our minds meet.